Welcome to today's class. Today we are going to dwell on channel number 3, which is non-verbal communication. Now, under non-verbal communication, we are embracing the idea of relaying information to our target audience or our intended audience through other means, apart from written and the verbal itself. And at this point, it is going to allow you to be able to acknowledge whatever you are undertaking as a person. So those non-verbal elements that we use in instituting or maybe in sharing messages with our intended purpose, it is always going to accrue to the audience in terms of what is there. And research has shown that non-verbal means of communication carry 55% of the message, whereby 7% only goes to the spoken words and a bit of 30% goes to our written elements. So meaning, when you are sharing any information, then you need to be able to acknowledge that your 90% of your communication is going to be carried by the non-verbal elements, and therefore the message will easily be driven by those non-verbal elements. So some of these non-verbal cues that we always apply in this spirit, one of them is what we call body language. And under body language, it means the movement of our body parts. So maybe the way you are maybe exhibiting yourself as a person, because it will be able to ideally tell the target audience whether the message you are sharing, you fully understand it, and also whether whatever you are putting into perspective, it is something that you as an individual has an upper hand about it. So on this issue of body language, then it is going to talk about direction, simplicity, and sincerity, making sure that whatever you will be able to give to them, it is something that comes across. Something like a smile from the speaker, which is part of body language, it is going to inspire some level of confidence to those who are initiating the process, or maybe those who are coming forth to the same idea. Number 2, it is eye contact. And eye contact simply means when you are sharing information with your target audience, are you able to focus on them? Because if you alienate yourself from them, then they will not be able to be attentive, they will not concentrate, and also they will feel that you are lacking that confidence to be able to share information with them. That's why you are deviating or maybe alienating your eyesight from them. And even you as the speaker, if your eye contact is well enshrined, then automatically the target audience will be able also to follow what you are sharing. Number 3, it is facial expressions. So this is how you are going to exhibit yourself in terms of your face. How do you initiate, or maybe how do you share whatever you have with the individuals that are focusing on you? And they will focus on your facial expressions, whereby if you frown, then it means something is not right. If maybe you are going to smile, or maybe there's something you are going to showcase, then your face is going to communicate a certain idea to them, and it will exhibit a certain character to them across the point. Number 4, it is the posture. And posture goes to the way you are sitting or standing, or maybe presenting yourself. Either when you are sitting, how are you sitting? When you are standing, how are you doing it? And also, if there are other initiatives that are coming on, then they are going to give you the basics across the point. Number 5, it is about touch, and touch goes hand in hand to being able to use simple words or maybe simple information that is going to arouse the attention of your audience, or maybe they will be able to follow whatever you are sharing as a person, because different individuals have different personalities, they have a different gender, and also their cultures are totally different. So how are we able also to follow with them? And lastly, it is about space. So this is the proximity from the speaker, or the proximity between the speaker and the target audience. It is also going to communicate a lot, so that people who are very close to each other, you can easily say they are friends, and the more they separate, then that link goes down the line. That is about the non-verbal cues. Some of them, there are many, but that is just a brief of them. So let us see now the advantages of non-verbal communication. What are some of the benefits or advantages? One of them, in terms of engagement, it is about complementary. So meaning complementary, it is something that is additional, because verbal messages, sometimes they might be either technical, or maybe they can be very tough, or maybe it's not audible. So if you are using also the signs or maybe the non-verbal means, they are complementing the message you are sharing verbally, and therefore trying to impart or trying to confirm the meaning. Number two, easy presentation, because some messages, verbally or written, can be technical in terms of sharing. So the non-verbal means come in to try and assist us to be able to share whatever is there, and it is a silent way of trying to relay a message. Number three, it is substituting, meaning if written means are a problem or the verbal mechanisms are not available, then non-verbal mechanisms are going to come in to be able to assist us to relay our message. Number four, it is ascending, meaning often in spoken messages there is the accent that we always use in sharing our messages, whereby because of other complications your accent might relay a different message, but some of the non-verbal cues, they come in to treat such like initiatives. There's the issue of repeat. What you've not gotten verbally, then through the non-verbal means it will be able to be given forth, because when you are like showing direction verbally and you are pointing, then that element of pointing is like what you are saying, you are also repeating, and therefore trying to impart that knowledge or that information into the conscience of the target audience. Number next, non-verbal means are very conducive for illiterate people, those who cannot be able to read and write, and maybe they have some impairment. They will easily be able to read your non-verbal cues and use them to get whatever you are sharing. It can also be used to help handicapped people. These are people who are disabled in one way or another, and therefore these non-verbal elements, they come in to try and assist such individuals. Next, it is about attractive presentation, and sometimes you find non-verbal cues, things like charts or maybe pictures that you are using to relay your message. Some of them can be very interesting, and therefore trying to pull the attention of those you are targeting. They also reduce wastage of time, because the logistics involved in other means of communication might be taking a long time, but a non-verbal cue requires the right moment and the right place, and it will be good to go to share with whoever is there. And lastly, it is a quick expression of a message, whereby whatever you have as a person, like a sign or a symbol, it will communicate some messages very easily. Let us finish up with these advantages of the same in regard to what is duly expected. So one of the disadvantages is vagueness and imprecise, because some of the non-verbal cues, they are not specific in nature. They are somehow general, and therefore you can use them to express a certain message, and therefore it doesn't carry the message you are putting across, because they lack that specificness, and therefore it can send a wrong message. Number two, it is continuous, whereby generally people will not know when such an item has been put in place, because spoken and written messages are structured, but non-verbal cues, most of them, they are not well structured. Number three, it is multi-channel, meaning while watching someone's eyes, you may miss something significant by the gesture of the hand, because you are concentrating on the eye contact, and therefore anything being shared, maybe using other mechanisms, you might maybe fail to get it. Number four, it is culture bound, meaning there are some things we've learned all along, and therefore they are somehow universal, and in one way or another they are not going to be maybe utilized in the current society, so that when people believe gestures are positive, others believe it is derogative, or it is something that is not very much possible. Number next, it is not conducive for long messages, because you'll get tired. As a speaker, some of those non-verbal cues, they carry a lot of weight in terms of presentation, and therefore if you have a longer message, it might be quite difficult to express what you have. Then understanding, unless you know the sign language, then non-verbal cues, most of them, the way they are being expressed, you will not be able to fully comprehend or follow whatever is there. Then not everybody likes or prefers such messages, or maybe such mechanisms of engagement, and therefore it is going to be very difficult for them to follow or to utilize or even to initiate such mechanisms. And even if you are going to use them, it will now impair their level of attention, and they will not follow what you are sharing. Number next, they lack formality, because non-verbal cues, the way they are formed, or maybe the way they are executed, they are not formalized in any way, and therefore you cannot know how to put it, or maybe how you are going to execute it, because it is something that is a bit spontaneous, and in the manner in which it is exhibited is not easy to be able to undertake it. It is also costly, like if we are talking of the charts, the pictures, the audio visuals and other things, coming up with them, it is always an expensive exercise, and therefore it will not be very much cost effective for the organization or the person using it across the point. And lastly, distortion of information. Most of the non-verbal cues, if you're not very keen with them, they are going to send a very bad signal or a very wrong signal to those who are following the messages that you are putting across. So you need to be very keen on how you are applying them and the manner in which you as a person, you are using them. So that is about the non-verbal communication, its advantages, disadvantages, and the examples, and it is what we impress every now and then in our day-to-day engagement. So God willing, next lesson we shall be able to look at other items in the spirit of communication. Thank you.